was the early morning of September 26, 1930. A ferocious gale was tearing across Lake Michigan, the kind of storm that sends ships to the bottom. Near White Lake, between Michigan and Whitehall, something uncanny was folding. Local legend says that people along the shore woke to strange lights and sounds on the water. A few claimed that they could see an outline of an old schooner, sails tattered, desperately trying to ride out the storm. But in a blink of an eye, the partition was gone. Meanwhile, miles away from White Lake, near the heart of Lake Michigan, the real drama was unfolding. The ship name was Our Sun, and it was one of the last sailing cargo ships in Lake Michigan. It had left port carrying lumber and went straight into the path of a gale. By that afternoon, Our Sun was in dire trouble. Her sails were shredded, she was taking on water, and the captain had ordered an upside-down flag as a distress signal. But here's a thing that's almost eerie. Help was on its way, but not by accident. Captain Charles Moore of the steamer William Nelson was some distance away, heading south on Lake Michigan. He had every reason to avoid the storm, but he felt a powerful, inexplicable urge to change course and head toward the eastern shore. An urge later described as a sixth sense. His crew thought he absolutely lost his mind with this decision. But it turns out this decision would save lives. On the shore near Whitehall that day, a man named Joseph Sidoni, a local mystic known for their uncanny premonitions, reportedly told friends that there was a ship out in distress on the lake. And amazingly, that another ship was on its way to rescue. He described the doomed ship in amazing detail. He stated that the ship's hold was filling with water, and that even though the ship was far outside of the normal shipping lanes, that it had a decent chance of getting rescued. But the interesting thing is, mind you, Sandoni was merely sensing this. The ship Our Sun had no radio. It was one of the few ships that didn't have a radio. So how exactly would he have known that? Sixth sense? Or something more? By mid-afternoon, Captain Moore and the William Nelson found the Our Sun off the coast, far off from normal shipping lanes, just as he'd been prompted to. The schooner was barely afloat. In a daring maneuver, Moore spread oil on the waves, an old trick to calm rough seas, and pulled alongside the floundering ship. One by one, 6 crewmen of Our Sun, plus her captain, a 73-year-old man named Captain Nelson, has no relation to Moore, leapt from their sinking ship onto the steamer and were saved. Not a soul was lost. Minutes after the rescue, the Our Sun slipped under the waves and she was gone. News of this rescue spread very quickly. As soon as Moore pulled into port with the steamer, he was hailed immediately as a hero. He even received a congressional medal for his daring acts. Keep this in mind, it is reportedly the only medal a Great Lakes time mariner has ever received. Some locals believe that the ghost ship seen on White Lake was a premonition or psychic vision of the Our Sun's plight. A mental projection so strong that it appeared to those with eyes to see. Others think perhaps the partitions were echoes of sailors who perished in Lake Michigan storms of the past. Drawn to a similar tragedy unfolding, the Great Lakes, after all, have quite a few legendary ghost ships. The story starts back in the 1900s, where 2 young women were sitting on railroad tracks near what is now known as the White Pine Trail in Rockford, Michigan. It was about dusk, and for whatever reason, maybe they didn't think that a train would come that late, or maybe they were just distracted, but the train did come. Why the girls didn't hear it or get off the tracks still remains a mystery. Some versions say that they were engrossed in conversation. Others whispered that something paranormal held them there. Tragically, they were struck. In the aftermath, locals reported some unsettling things. And for years later, train engineers would report seeing two ghostly figures on that same track as they approached. Figures that would vanish before impact. Residents near the local tracks occasionally heard screams or laughter at night, without a living soul in sight. Fast forward to today, and the old railroad line has long been since abandoned and transformed into a Fred Meyer white pine trail. A peaceful path where people can bike and jog, but the paranormals have not stopped. People call it the Rockford Phantom Train. A little walk near 10 Mile Road at night, and it is reported that you may hear the sound of the train tracks clacking when the wheels are on it, or a very loud train horn in the distance. But there is no train. Some have reported the sounds of giggling or youthful voices whispering in the trees alongside the trail, but a few even claim to have seen two translucent girls dressed in old-fashioned clothes walking near or by the path, only to fade away as you get closer. Those who have experienced it describe it like feeling watched or followed, not by something threatening, but by something sad and curious.